everything you know about artificial intelligence is a bunch of hype. In their new book, The AI Con, my next guests aim to pull back the curtain on how AI really works and who's truly reaping the rewards. Dr. Emily Bender and Dr. Alex Hanna, welcome to New Day to you both.
Thanks for having us, Kelly.
Thanks for having us here.
I want to dive right in. So Emily, you're a linguistics professor at the University of Washington. So obviously words are kind of your thing. The term AI is thrown around all the time. So what is AI?
So AI, the word, is a marketing term. There is no thing that is AI. The phrase artificial intelligence refers to a set of technologies that are being hyped up as more than they can actually do, sold as something that can think like a person, for example, and actually don't have very much in common across the different technologies. So ChatGPT is a different piece of software constructed differently from the system that might help your camera focus on the face in an image when you're taking a picture. And so all of that gets called artificial intelligence, and it makes it sound like more than it is.
Okay, I'm really excited to keep diving into this. Alex, how do you think most people view AI, and what are we all really missing?
Yes, I think a lot of people think that AI is like what we see in sci-fi. So it's like The Matrix, or it's like Lieutenant Commander Data in Star Trek. Like it's something that can think by itself. But many of the systems that we use that are called AI are these generative AI systems. And a lot of them, like ChatGPT or Claude from Anthropic, these are systems which are called large language models. And what they really are is that they're kind of like a souped up autocomplete. What they do is they see some words, a lot of words, and then they predict the most likely words that come after it. And so what we're doing, and what Emily has said a lot in her prior work, is what we are doing is that we're imagining a mind behind that, and we are imbuing that with some kind of notion that this is a intelligent being.
Gosh, and Emily, where do you think the AI hype comes from then?
It comes from commercial interests and venture capital, actually. So I like to tell people that in November 2022, when ChatGPT took over the world by storm, what changed was not actually a big technological advancement. What changed was a slight UI tweak to something we'd had for a while, the synthetic text extruding machines, predicting the next word over and over again. And there is a lot of commercial interest behind that. A lot of money has gone into it, and not a lot of money has come back to the people who've made those investments. So they have to get us all excited about it. They have to push it into everything to get people using it to try to recoup some of those investments.
That makes sense. And Alex, many companies are asking employees to use AI a lot in their work as much as they can. You say, though, we shouldn't buy into that. Why not? And how can employees feel empowered to push back?
I think there's a lot of push to put this into work because employers think that it's going to save people time or it's going to make people more productive. And so what you say in the book is, AI is not going to replace you at your job, but it's going to make your job worse because that labor is either going to add new tasks or it's going to displace labor in a different way. Employees can push back by asking questions, asking what is this doing, what are the inputs, what are the outputs, how is this evaluated, is this actually going to make my job better, and by making demands and asking how they can have control about what they use technologically and in their workplace.
Definitely. And Emily, what should policymakers be considering to curb AI overreach?
Yeah, so the first thing I want to say there is that AI overreach, one of the problems with the phrase AI is that it always sounds like it's the AI doing the thing, right? There's no AI that's overreaching. There is corporate interests that are using this technology called AI in an overreaching fashion. And that overreach reaches into our privacy, it reaches into our quality of work, it reaches into our quality of social services. So there's a lot that needs to be done. And it starts with applying existing regulation. So the FTC under Lina Khan was very clear that there was no AI loophole. Like they said, it's our job to regulate the way businesses do business. And it doesn't matter if they're using automation to do that, we still regulate that. So some regulation should just be applied. That's already there. We could use better regulation around data rights. So our right to remove data, our right to know when data has been collected about us, and even better data minimization to not let the data collect. We could use regulation around transparency. So we should know when there's been automation, and we should know how that automation was built. There should be regulation around recourse. If someone uses an automated decision to make if someone uses an automated decision system to make a consequential decision about my life and it adversely affects me, I should be able to efficiently get that addressed. Right? So all of these things. And then finally, and this goes to what Alex was talking about with pushing back at work, legislation that protects workers' rights can be really important here.
Gosh, okay, and Alex, I want to end with what concerns you the most in this space and what's giving you hope?
What concerns me the most is that we're having these models get bigger and bigger, and what they are going to do is displace workers. And it's also, they have intense environmental harms. And so when all the hype is, dead and gone, those workers are going to have a hard time getting their positions back. They might be pushed into gig work or into other industries, and the environmental harm will already be done. So that worries me quite a lot. And thinking about what kind of future we could have, there's been really interesting work from alternative different technology companies like Teheku Media. They do machine translation for the Maori language of folks in Eritrea, also called New Zealand, and they've been building technological futures that is under control of those people who are building those technologies. They own the data, they control that data, they control the computers, and so that's building a technological future that works for the people that it's being built for, and not from huge companies that are building huge models that are somehow supposed to work for everyone.
Gosh, thank you so much, you guys, for being here today. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And if you'd like to hear more from Dr. Bender and Dr. Hanna, they have a book event tonight at Elliott Bay Book Company. They'll also be at Third Place Books in Lake Forest Park tomorrow.